The Roman Republic's history is a tale of transformation, from a small city-state overthrowing a monarchy to a vast power ruling the Mediterranean. It spans from 509 BCE, when the last king of Rome was expelled, to 27 BCE, when Octavian, later known as Augustus, consolidated his power and ended the Republic. This 500-year journey is marked by dramatic political experiments, relentless military expansion, internal strife, and the seeds of imperial rule. The Republic began with revolution. The last king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, ruled as a tyrant, disregarding Roman customs and laws. His expulsion was sparked by the outrage following the assault of a noblewoman, Lucretia, by the king's son. The incident galvanized Romans to rise against the monarchy, with Lucius Junius Brutus leading the charge. Rome replaced its monarchy with a republic centered on the idea that no single person should wield absolute power. The government was instead led by consuls, two annually elected magistrates who shared executive authority. Power was divided among various offices, and citizens participated in governance through assemblies. The Republic faced immediate challenges. Surrounded by hostile neighbors, Rome fought to defend itself and expand its territory. After overthrowing the Etruscan king Tarquinius Superbus, Rome faced repeated attempts by Etruscan powers, including Lars Porsena of Clusium, to restore monarchy. These early battles established Rome's resilience. Over time, Rome clashed with key Etruscan cities, culminating in the Siege of Veii, where Rome, under Marcus Furius Camillus, defeated the wealthy city, marking the decline of Etruscan influence. These wars solidified Rome's dominance in central Italy and laid the groundwork for its expansion. In the early Republic, Rome was one of many city-states in Latium, a region inhabited by Latin-speaking peoples with shared customs, religion, and traditions. Rome initially formed a loose military alliance with these Latin cities, known as the Latin League, to defend against common enemies like the Etruscans and Volsci. However, as Rome grew in power after expelling its last king, tensions with the Latin League began to simmer. The smaller cities resented Rome's increasing dominance and sought to preserve their autonomy. The Latin Wars were the result of this power struggle between Rome and its former allies. The first defining moment of the Latin Wars came with the Battle of Lake Regillus. This legendary battle, fought in 496 BCE, was a climactic confrontation between Rome and the Latin League, which had allied with the exiled Roman king Lucius Tarquinius Superbus in an attempt to restore the monarchy. The battle was fiercely contested, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Roman forces, led by the dictator Aulus Postumius Albus, achieved a narrow victory, reportedly with divine intervention from Castor and Pollux, the twin gods. This victory solidified Rome's independence and dominance over the Latin League, though tensions remained high. The final and decisive conflict, the Latin Revolt, ended with Rome defeating the rebellious cities at battles like Trifonum. Following the war, Rome dissolved the Latin League, integrated the cities into its system, and granted varying degrees of citizenship. This unification of Latium under Roman control paved the way for Rome's expansion across Italy. Internally, Rome's society was divided between patricians, the aristocratic elite who controlled political power, and plebeians, the common people excluded from most offices. This inequality led to the conflict of the orders. a centuries-long struggle for plebeian rights. Plebeians gained significant concessions, including the creation of the tribune of the plebs, who could veto decisions harmful to the common people. The publication of the 12 Tables, Rome's first codified laws, was a major milestone, ensuring greater legal transparency. Rome's disciplined army and relentless ambition made it a dominant force in Italy and beyond. By the 3rd century BCE, Rome had defeated rivals across the Italian Peninsula, integrating conquered peoples into its system through alliances and offering citizenship to some. The Punic Wars were a trio of conflicts between Rome and Carthage that determined control of the Western Mediterranean. In the First Punic War, sparked by a struggle over Sicily, Rome built a navy and defeated Carthage in a series of naval battles, gaining Sicily, Corsica, and Sardinia as its first provinces. In the Second Punic War, Carthaginian general Hannibal famously crossed the Alps into Italy, defeating Roman armies at battles like Cannae. Rome, under Scipio Africanus, counterattacked in Africa, defeating Hannibal at Zama, forcing Carthage into a subordinate position. In the Third Punic War, Rome besieged and destroyed Carthage, ending its existence as a city and annexing its territory as the province of Africa. The wars solidified Rome's dominance in the Mediterranean and marked the decline of Carthage as a rival power. Rome simultaneously expanded eastward, defeating the Hellenistic kingdoms of Macedonia, Greece, and Asia Minor, establishing itself as the supreme power of the Mediterranean world. While Rome grew externally, internal tensions mounted. Wealth from conquests flowed to the elite, enriching patricians and large landowners, but leaving small farmers impoverished. Many lost their land and flocked to cities, where they became a restive urban underclass. In the 2nd century BCE, Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus, both tribunes, sought to address these inequalities through land reforms and social programs. Their efforts were met with violent resistance from the Senate, leading to their deaths. The failure to address these issues exacerbated class divides and set a precedent for political violence. As the Republic expanded, its armies became more loyal to their generals than to the state. Reforms by Gaius Marius allowed landless citizens to serve in the army, professionalizing the military but tying soldiers' loyalties to the commanders who promised them rewards. The late Republic was marked by a series of civil wars as powerful individuals vied for control. In 88 BCE, a dispute between generals Marius and Lucius Cornelius Sulla led to the First Civil War. Sulla marched on Rome, seized power as dictator, and implemented brutal purges to restore the Senate's authority. Although he retired, his actions set a dangerous precedent. By the 60s BCE, 3 men dominated Roman politics: Julius Caesar, a brilliant general and populist; Pompey the Great, a celebrated military leader; and Marcus Licinius Crassus, Rome's wealthiest man. Together, they formed an informal alliance to control the Republic. However, after Crassus's death, tensions grew between Caesar and Pompey. When the Senate, aligned with Pompey, ordered Caesar to disband his army, he famously crossed the Rubicon River in 49 BCE, declaring war on the Senate with the words, "The die is cast." Caesar defeated Pompey and consolidated power, becoming dictator for life in 44 BCE. He implemented sweeping reforms, including calendar changes and granting citizenship to many provincials. However, his centralization of power alarmed traditionalists, and he was assassinated on the Ides of March by a group of senators led by Brutus and Cassius. Caesar's death plunged Rome into chaos. His allies Mark Antony, Octavian, who was Caesar's adopted heir, and Lepidus formed the second triumvirate to defeat his assassins, culminating in their victory at the Battle of Philippi. However, the alliance soon fractured. Antony allied with Cleopatra of Egypt, sparking a rivalry with Octavian. Octavian defeated Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, leaving him sole ruler of Rome. In 27 BCE, Octavian declared the restoration of the Republic, but retained supreme authority, taking the title Augustus. This marked the beginning of the Roman Empire. Augustus maintained the trappings of republican institutions, but real power resided with the emperor.